inside the 50s, copping physical attention already from Duffield and also Luke McFarlane.
Umpires tonight, Farmer, Margetts and Dalgleish. Umpire Farmer, great bounce to get us underway, and umpire on the rise. Now we've got a whistle a long way from the action. Dockers free kicks and holding on. They're as confused as anybody else.
Get Jonathan back. Jonathan. It's a Dockers free kick for a push into the square, but it's got to be Jonathan Griffin's free.
Okay, so the ruckman takes
by the boundary umpire.
So Griffin, big night for him, big boots to fill.
Wait a minute, I think the boundary umpire, I think there was confusion amongst the umpires.
Back here, it's a Carlton free kick.
Wow.
Mark, get the ruckman in to take it. Get your ruckman.
That was strong of the boundary umpire to make sure that when there was an error, to correct the error before the ball is played on.
That's actually been a really sensible way it's played out. If it's the right decision, it's been handled exceptionally well.
Cruiser drives inside the forward 50 then, coming up weight, bounced off his chest. Betts was pushed out of it. McPhee, Griffin, kick was smothered. It came from Duffield, goes back towards Mzungu. He ran into a dead end. We'll have a ball up about 40 metres out from goal.
It's a positive start there by Carlton. The first inside 50, Eddie Betts puts on a bone-crunching tackle. That just shows the commitment to the footy early from the Blues.
Sell-out crowd. We've got over 36,000 at the moment, so it should get close to 40,000. As Dennis said, big night for Griffin. Goes against Cruiser, Betts, McPhee. He did well on Milne last week. Mzungu, very impressive Mzungu. Mature age footballer. Kick out to De Boer. So De Boer and Gibbs interesting, Tom and Lee. I mean, that looks like it might be the matchup. Gibbs was playing loose in the back half. Thornton had it just smothered by Johnson in a boundary throw-in.
Yes, I guess De Boer plays a bit of that defensive forward role, so I guess whoever's the most dangerous Carlton defender, he'll try and get some body on.
So, Carlton inside the 50. High tackle on Main. So Pearce with the advantage. What a good start Pearce has had in 2012.
Just beyond the wing with a kick. Henderson leads back. It's 2-on-1. Henderson looking for Dygan. Dygan eventually gets to the footy. Murphy hard against the boundary line. Goes down towards right half. Got a beautiful kick. Almost found its way to Thornton. Just punched away in the nick of time by Main. Ibbotson goes around the outer side close to the boundary. It spills out. Down goes Ballantyne. That was just a token.
He put a bit of body on him, but he makes sure with the buckled knees, you never know. Unfortunately, you don't get free kick for staging, do you?
Cruiser and Griffin. Griffin just won the tap. LG Hill was clever. Got through, and then with a long kick to fall forward. Pavlich in the front spot with Henderson, and the Dockers get it forward. First time I've seen Fremantle on this ground under Ross Lyon. I mean, we know the type of play. It'll be interesting with the bigger ground, that defensive mindset. It's worked okay. They beat the Cats here in the first week. They beat the Lions in the third week. There are plenty of open spaces on this ground. Again, Griffin and Cruiser.
And just on that point, Bruce, obviously a massive ground here at Patersons Stadium, Subiaco Oval. Fremantle use the corridor more at home than they do away, so not afraid to take the game on.
Griffin started well. Locks up with Cruiser. Gets an arm free at the last moment. Fyfe had the football, and it fell behind him. Big scramble. Robinson loves the situation. Umpire balls it up.
Interesting decision to start Judd forward outside the centre square. I mean, he'll be in the centre square plenty of times, but I think it's partly to get a really quick, creative runner, because there's going to be a lot of space when the ball comes out of this area.
Again, Griffin slapped it down. Simpson, high ball back towards midfield. McPhee was up. Judd gets the crumb, wheels around, comes across the ground into the path of Scotland. Nobody up ahead. Scotland the one bounce. Put it this way, a lot of green to work with. He backs off. Hand passes back to Gibbs, who waits for a runner. Coming across and filling the hole is Walker. Sort of got the runner. Goes down towards the pocket. Punched away by Dawson. It goes out of bounds. We'll have a throw in.
Played that really well there, Dawson. Didn't have a direct opponent on him at the time. Johnson was covering weight, but worked the ankle. Still would love to see him take the ball instead of fisting it out of bounds. So
Hampson to do the ruck. Both Hampson and Cruiser play about 80% of the time, so they're normally out there together. Scotland was good, and then he's held up by Mundy and also Griffin, and holding the ball.
Jonathan Griffin, your footy. Thank you.
So at last he gets that touch, Griffin. Mundy. Good kick. And Anthony, who started interchange, comes on. Griffin, interesting, Tim, because I read today in the West Australian that he came off last week. East Fremantle, East Perth didn't see the game out.
Had a bit of a sore groin in that game, Bruce. He was only on for the first 10 minutes, but obviously recovered there. And maybe they brought him off when they knew Sandilands was a little bit sore from the Friday night the night before.
Could be right.
Yep, so Mundy back to Duffield.
Duffield, hard against the boundary line. Kicks the interchange gates. Pavlich in front will get the free. Pavlich wheels around, plays on immediately. Nobody inside his forward 50. Mzungu just puts it to space. Interesting situation. Two speedsters. Hill's got the football, kicks the goal.
This example here of getting the ball over the top into space with Hill was one of the really tactical plays that Essendon implemented last week against Carlton. Bring all their numbers up, have an open forward 50 and get it over the top. So Carlton need to be aware of that they suffered against the Bombers last week, and the first goals come as a result of that also.
We know Armfield's got the job, who Brett Ratton told us in the pre-game interview, but gee, when it gets to a speed test, I don't think he's going to be able to keep up with Hill. As soon as Hill got the space over the top, he was gone.
It's his first goal for the year. He's a goal kicker, we know that. Actually, Pavlich worked his way through that very cleverly. Mzungu's kick was terrific. Actually, both attacking forays in the last minute have been similar. Scotland back to Gibbs, Gibbs to Walker. They didn't get the goal. So Judd in the centre now, Lee. And Murphy from Judd, kicking forward. Thornton, who's a real swingman these days, out wide to Simpson on his wrong side, but it's a neat kick off the boot. Just floated a bit too far. Just seeing the match up there. Crowley's going to Judd when he starts in the centre circles. When he's not there, he'll play more of just a typical midfielder role. Ibbotson to Broughton to Barlow. Now to Bohr, held up by Betts and holding the ball. And then Betts wanting to go, now called to go. And that's not a good kick. Mzungu to cut it off to Duffield. And Duffield looking for Griffin.
Duffield has been busy. Goes to the outer side. Anthony worked over there by Jamison. Slaps it out, but straight to Simpson. Should be too nimble for Griffin. Pulls away. Slips a hand pass across to Curnow. In trouble, Curnow. Back to the voice, but he threw it. No sentiment in umpiring. Hayden Kennedy's number 7. Snapped up in a season. There's Mzungu.
Didn't retire it for 12 months.
No. Well, at least. On the outer side, Ballantyne. A dangerous kick. Broughton made it look okay. Crowley measuring the kick. Well done again by Duffield. Here's De Boer. Just going straight up the middle. Lobs it for Barlow through his fingertips. All Carlton behind. Dygan could have almost got a free. Barlow's got the football. Dygan's got him. Ball's in there somewhere. And the umpire calls for it. Fremantle up by 6 early going. On a warm Friday night in Perth.
Dockers inside the forward 50, or one of their players, Crowley, went to ground. He'll be annoying somebody, that's for sure. Griffin's tap. Speaking of annoying, Ballantyne, good tackle. And that ball held up, so Dockers 50 metres out.
A lot of bodies, as always, within 5 or 10 metres of the footy, but once it breaks from that congestion, then it becomes a real speed test. Just really early on, I think that the Dockers have actually been matching that Carlton strength of speed.
Gibbs about 5 metres in front of Pavlich and Henderson, who we saw a moment ago, filling the hole. Simpson just off the side. Gee, Mzungu's pick-up was terrific to Dawson, and Dawson, well, I'll pay that. I'm not sure if he pointed out to De Boer, but it came off brilliantly. What about the pick-up on Mzungu?
He's a good player, isn't he?
I don't think we think Zach Dawson kicks well enough for that to be a pass. I think that's been just a kick off he shanked it a bit. Let's have a look here. Oh, maybe he did.
Came about from great pressure from Hayden Ballantyne. Fremantle this year, one thing that they've been exceptional at is the forward 50 pressure.
It's 1 goal, 3 from set shots this year. Is that coming back and straightening up? No. So 1-4. So Dockers doing the scoring early. Not much of it, by the way. You feel like it's going to be a low-scoring match, don't you?
Hard to get a kick both sides. Do deny opposition possession.
Joseph. Oh, Joseph. Grabbed, affected the kick. It wanders up towards midfield. Ibbotson trying to go through. No chance there.
Thank you.
Dockers by 7. Doesn't look anxious. Bit going on in his life at the moment. bounce, the attacking side of the centre square for Freo. Ballantyne taken down strongly by Robinson. May not be Ballantyne, looks a bit big for Ballantyne. It's Pearce.
Thanks, mate.
The last time these sides met late last season was a clean skip. Not so anymore. Reaching over the top, Clark comes again. Still Clark, tackled and taken to the ground by Cruiser.
He's got a big job tonight, Clark. I thought he was impressive last week, wasn't he, against the Saints? But without Sandilands, you think he's going to do even more ruck work tonight. So the Griffin can go all the way. So Clark probably just wins it, and they bang it forward a bit. Armfield out last week with the knee. He's a West Australian. There's a few of them in the team. I think they came over a day earlier, the Western Australian boys. They came over Tuesday.
Interesting now, the rucks. Clark and Griffin are competitive in the ruck. We saw what Carlton did to the Collingwood ruckman 10 days ago and what that did to Carlton's victory that night.
So Robinson down low. Just so many tackles early in this game. Now the umpire's looking and looking and looking, and he's going to ball it up.
Going out to these two guys. Thank you.
Carlton was setting up with Bryce Gibbs, a kick behind the play here. I think it's Nat Fyfe who's trying to actually get on the defensive side for Fremantle and get the ball going forward.
After the bounce, Mundy got boot to ball. Robinson tackling everybody. The ball up.
Sure, please, Clancee. Thanks, mate.
Clancee Pearce was on the edge over summer, and now he's a regular. One down by Cruiser. Murphy in a tight situation. Could have been taken high. He'll get the free kick.
Still Carlton have to be able to break. But at the moment, they're hemming them in up pretty well, the Dockers, aren't they?
Yep. That's a technique everyone's mastering now, that getting the arm up as you tackled and taking the arm up over the shoulder. Murphy did it that time. Here's Dygan. Feeds it forward, in trouble. Tui, down he goes. Murphy had it, lost it, spills behind him. And again, a real skirmish develops. So very much, well, I was going to say stop-start football, but the umpire's got other ideas. And it's a free kick going to Carlton.
Thanks. Straight over, please.
So interesting with how our interpretations have changed. I mean, Tui was holding the ball a minute ago. It wasn't paid, and yet, you know, I know they want to move it on, but sometimes the player's got no hope. We've talked about that for 100 years, but they don't. The one with Tui, that's holding the footy, but not paid these days. So interesting. So Robinson at half back. He's going to set it up. They had the numbers. They had Hampson, who was high. Betts. And he's kicked it out on the full. Actually, Eddie's mum has brought down a dozen of his relatives tonight from, I think they're from Boulder. Is that Kalgoorlie, Dan? Boulder?
Boulder, yes.
Yep. So Cindy's mum, so they're supporting Eddie. I don't think his shorts, the light blue, are even longer than the others.
There's no doubt they're longer, Bruce. They're the biggest shorts I've seen. Double XL at least.
They are amazing. So Fyfe. What impact can he have on the game? So good in the first two matches and then injured the shoulder against the Lions. So he gets it back from Dawson.
His first two possessions right there, and Pavlich takes a beauty, being held by the arm. Gets the free kick, wasn't paid a mark. Pavlich, just the defensive side of the wing, unloads long down towards the attacking 50. Gibbs played it very well, got the body in early, corrals the footy, comes to Scotland. He's in the back pocket. Jabs it up the middle. Nice kick too. Tui takes the mark.
To see on screen, they're setting up the zone really well at the moment. Fremantle. They're basically playing a containment one-on-one zone and just denying all the outlets. That kick asked a lot of Simpson, but he's done okay. Simpson feeds it off. Good to see this man Russell back in the team. Well, maybe not. Depends who you're barracking for. That wasn't a good effort. Just jabbed it straight across the boundary line. Interesting fight with those back-to-back possessions. To put that in context, last year runner-up in the best and fairest. He averaged 25 possessions a game. Pavlich comes back. Duffield, that's a clever kick inside. Broughton goes across the ground. Dawson. Man on the far side. McPhee, he ignores that. Searching kick. Well, he was searching for Henderson. Just talking about those stats again. That was his second season, so average 25 in his second. Chris Judd in his second, 18.
Dane Swan in his second 13, and this ball's gone out of bounds on the full.
We thought that Carlton had really come out with some real life after a bad game last round, but at the moment they just can't crack. Fremantle just look like to get more numbers on the field at the moment.
I've written all that down, Dennis. That was pretty impressive. So holding.
Reasonable time.
So Henderson, a couple of mistakes by him.
360 revolution.
Yeah, they're flatly at the moment, aren't they?
Yeah, well,
not much energy.
They often think they look really quick, Carlton, but at the moment the Dockers are more matching him in that speed around the contest.
Interesting player, Main, isn't he? He's
a really important player for them.
25 goals last year. A lot of them early in the year, but such a defensive role. He played it on Fisher last week. Carlton don't have an obvious big playmaker in the back half. Maybe it's Gibbs, but it looks like De Boer's got that job. Short. OK. For Barlow.
When you're talking about the sort of energy lead, that's a good example of it there. When it's a set play and you've got time to set up, if you're really on your job, you don't let an uncontested mark inside the forward.
They should be able to be just moving. In other words, they're creating, they're occupying space, the Carlton players, but not really looking where the ball might go.
Speaking of stats in your first year, Den, I mean, Barlow was pretty impressive, wasn't he? I mean, a remarkable opening year. So Barlow not coming back, and that is a behind. So a couple of misses, De Boer, Barlow, both missing from gettables, and you feel like the Dockers should be a little further in front.
I'm with you, Bruce. There's Tui.
Best in the competition, Carlton scoring from kick-in, so they've got an opportunity to set something up.
Slow start. Scotland comes out wide. Walker just forward, left half back. I think I'm in the minority, but I don't mind these uniforms. Maybe the shorts a bit much as the ball comes beyond the wing. Griffin played, comes back to Duffield, finds so much of it. Dawson down low to Crowley. How did he get rid of that? Good tackle. It was the hand pass that did him in. Down at his feet, lost his momentum as Judd comes out wide. Curnow, oh, not 15. Murphy was just standing there, got the drive-by pass. The ball goes across to Russell. Russell swings it wide. Now they can make something of this. Henderson, normally a pretty good kick, puts it out in front of Hampson. Hampson, unfortunately, found it falling short. Half volleyed it off his body across the boundary line.
Tell me what you saw.
Oh.
Brett seems very confident. Came under his knee, so it's out of bounds in the full. Free kick to Fremantle.
Got that one wrong.
Certainly off his thigh, wasn't it?
Yep, so Ibbotson to Duffield. Just looking for weight. I don't think I've seen him so far. So that kick's dangerous. Griffin's got to get rid of it in a hurry. Judd got to him in a hurry. Hampson swings it forward to Betts. Betts gets it back to Robinson. Closer behind. So Carlton on the board. It's taken a long time. But there's no damage done in terms of the score for the Dockers yet. Again, Judd spending a fair bit of time around the 50, isn't he?
So Duffield with the football. Hardly a breath of wind as the ball goes to the outer side. Mazungu was up, punched away there by Gibbs, and it goes out of bounds. Tendai Mazungu. Just the name sounds tough. My coach tells me, I want you to play on Tendai Mazungu. I'm not happy. Oh, please, coach, forget the name, just the number. He says 13. Still not great. There's a chance for Fyfe. Valentine was taken high, bit of an exchange. Robbo wasn't listening.
I reckon Mitch Valentine, I was about to say. Mitch Robinson's the type of player that might get sucked into Hayden Valentine. It's going to be not stuck in, sucked in.
It's going to be to centre wing, and now Pavlich with Henderson, and Gibbs was terrific to Murphy, and then to Cruiser. So 1-1, eh? All those number ones. Cruiser to fall forward, getting back. McFarlane didn't mark it, and Garlett kicks the goal. Well, he had to either punch it away, McFarlane, or mark it in the end. I mean, he's a great defender, we know all that, but once the ball dropped, you reckon there were two chances, Dennis? One was Garlick, the other one was Betts.
Ah, yes.
You'd bet on that, wouldn't you?
That's where they look fast. We were talking before about sometimes they look quickly, making the point. They certainly look fast in their forward half when these guys are on song, don't they?
There's a long ball coming in here, and if you do attempt the mark like you do on that occasion with Luke McFarlane, and fairness to Luke, he marks a lot of those, but he's spending a lot of time on Eddie Betts, and if you leave Eddie Betts, it was Gartland on that occasion, but at ground level, you're in a bit of strife.
Another very good bounce. Robinson at the feet of the pack there. Ballantyne, so far this season, 7 free kicks for, none against. Gave it to Fyfe. Oh, well done, Henderson. Just pushing back, takes the mark. Goes across the ground to the opposite pocket. Good to see Gibbs just pushing forward a little more, maybe picking up a couple of goals tonight. Curnow back to Gibbs, around the outer side. Simpson. So he's at right half back. Along the boundary line with the kick. Waite got some separation, but McFarlane showed the judgment. Dawson a bit of a fumble. Scotland robbed him of the ball. A little surprise now, Scotland. It comes across towards Betts. Waite back to Betts. Kicks a low bouncer to Hampson. Back to Walker. Walker runs the boundary line to the pocket. That was well worked. Very confined spaces out there, and Carlton did it well. Garlett's got the footy. And this you would think is almost impossible. I did make the point, no breeze. But he's got to get this ball coming back left to right. What'll he do here? Couldn't rule him out. It's a bit of a marvel, but even the marvel has missed. It goes right across the face, helped on its way by Griffin. Picked up by Broughton, could have been caught holding the ball. Nothing doing. Boundary throw in.
Well, we gave him plenty of time, didn't he? That one, he'd taken a step or two. You would have thought that was prior opportunity. Probably should have been holding the ball, that one.
Dodged one there, Broughton. Good tap by Hampson at the back. Fyfe. Strong Fyfe there because he was tackled and he held the hips up and got a long ball away. Jamieson. Anthony, did he get into his back?
Time back on.
So Jamieson quickly to Russell. And Russell to Armfield. They love to do this, Carlton, the short passing game. They do a lot of it. And now they go long. Dawson left his man, did the right thing and belted the ball over the line. So Mika Gale here tonight.
Pearce,
obviously.
She's at home, so best of both worlds, watching Shaw play and back home.
Boundary throw in. Cruiser trying to hook it down behind. Broughton was there. High ball towards the wing. Going back, it's knocked down by Russell. Curnow, Russell, Curnow, right against the boundary line. Ample time, has a bounce, sends it back inside the forward 50. Putting his hands to it, Hampson couldn't hang on. Broughton stood up in a tackle. Duffield only as far as Curnow. So he's about 80 metres out. Battle of defences. Do we sheet this home to Ross Lyon or not? There goes the kick down towards the pocket. Oh, should have punched from behind Johnson. Hampson takes the mark.
Interesting on that one. It was Johnson who was a loose man the whole time. He knew Ed Curnow was going to kick the ball to him for as long as Curnow had the ball. And I guess with that assurity that it's coming in, he just assumed he was going to mark it. Should have punched. Had to influence the contest.
So Hampson. 45-degree angle, only about 35 metres out. Important kick this one to give Carlton the lead. But he's got it. His goal kicking has really improved. High fives all round. They get 6.
Yeah, no, he's kicking well, Dennis. He's had a great year, actually. 8 goals for him. Interesting with the defenders there. They were with Hampson. They couldn't get a run up. They couldn't get off the ground. They just could get no elevation. Probably their positioning was all wrong. But anyway, it was a good mark and a good goal. So the Blues in front. So Carlton in front.
Bit of cat and mouse going on, obviously, with Judd and Crowley. I think sometimes Judd just goes to go and play his game out of the centre square. At the moment, he hasn't been able to really get involved in the game a whole lot.
So Hampson, 8 goals won this season. He's had a great return. Kicked 3 in the opening match.
Point B on that, you can sometimes try and outsmart the tagger's positioning when really maybe you just got to go and play your game. Judd, rather than trying to get him outside the centre square just to get Crowley out of his comfort zone.
And Judd letting the umpire know there that the tactics that Crowley were using to keep an eye on it, Armfield. So the Blues have had a good patch here. The last 5 minutes after the Dockers were a little wasteful early. Scotland. He's one of the sweepers, isn't he? They've got a few. They've got Gibbs and Scotland. And I guess Russell, that's a great kick to Thornton. And then Thornton with that familiar style. Here's another one of their half-back sweepers in Gibbs. Almost like a quarterback he plays at times. And Russell.
Had a good 5-minute patch, Carlton, but actually the Dockers are still forcing him wide. They can't get back through the centre square. Every time they try to bring it back inside, their centre square is so critical at Subiaco. It's a long, long way round if you follow the boundary.
Jamison, his defensive 50. Long kick beyond the wing. Cruiser, what a terrific mark. Murphy on the burst inside the forward 50. A late goal would be very good for the Blues. Well, for either of them, really. Down the Blues end, Dawson just pushes it across the line.
He's the president of Carlton, one of the all-time greats, Stephen Kernahan. Glenelg in South Australia. Carlton in Victoria. He's a legendary figure back home in SA. So they worked hard to get him to the Crows, as they probably did to get Pavlich here. Neither of them were successful.
We continue with the SA field.
Thanks,
Looks like stirred out there, Bruce.
Right, thanks, Chris.
Well, it's a similar colour, isn't it? I'm with Dennis. I like the colour, but that's Sturt's colour in South Australia. Jack Odie's famous team in the 60s. McPhee has been on Judd for a fair bit of this opening term. And then Murphy's little squeezy, not far enough to Judd. Judd knows it. He throws it up in the end. And then Broughton to McPhee. But Carlton have got a wall at the moment at centre wing, and they can't get it through. Scotland normally a good kick with ball in hand on both sides. But again, as Lee talked about, they've been forced to go very wide. Well, this is interesting. No, now when he's up there. Dawson now. Can Pavlich get to it first? He doesn't quite. Oh, it was a big play. Henderson to Scotland. Well, that would have been something, because I was getting excited with Pav with the footy in that area.
Catterwood's half forward, getting a timely fist in there. Duffield gets it out of bounds.
Wouldn't you have just loved to have seen, here's the smother from Dawson, Zach Dawson. There's no one in front of him. I would have loved to have seen a leg race. Just the two of them, they were the only two in front of the play.
Would have been slow.
Quicker than us.
Robinson, Broughton got him. Wide of the pack, Dygan. Feeds it back to Curnow, just lobs it out wide. Murphy. And statistician Josh, who is the Billy Crystal of statisticians, was just telling me this is a shootout compared to last week on this ground. The quarter time, 8 behinds to 4 behinds. We've seen 3 goals. Curnow.
Don't get him started, Dennis. He's got a big theory on 100 points in this game tonight.
Has he? There's Waite.
It's the Billy Crystal of someone.
Clever.
Funny. He's humorous. At least that's my take on it. What are the odds of getting a humorous statistician? We'll have to ask him.
He'll give you the odds.
Sort of bloke that would make Ross laugh. So 5-point game, both with 3 scoring shots. It was a 2-goal first half, of course, last week. And the winner hadn't scored a goal by half-time. Fyfe to Hill. Hill down low. Good kick to Pavlich. But they're in the wrong side. Pav had that great chance a moment ago. And to hear from him at half-time talking about his life away from footy, looking forward to that. Good kick inside. So a real arm wrestle, wasn't it? Carlton flat early, but they got the last 2 goals of the quarter. And most of the last half of that quarter was played on their terms. So quarter time on Friday night footy here at Patersons Stadium. It's Carlton leading by 5 points over Fremantle. 1-2 to 2-1.